in View 4, which is a city view. Now on this one, Eleonora's recommending using half a hook size bigger, so we've gone for a 4.5 rather than a 4 for the one that I'm making. This is because we're using the mosaic crochet, and it produces a denser fabric, so she's feeling that the tension works better on a half size bigger hook. There's quite a lot of different little pattern note instructions which I recommend you read first, and then just so that you're aware of them, so that you get the yarn when you're carrying things across in the right place at the right time and you don't end up with the wrong yarn across the front, etc. So with this, you do start with the black. Do remember that the chart for every row you are using, shown on the chart, every square is 2 rows, and that's important, so you go in one way then back across to the other. However, the blocks going upwards are all individual stitches, so just bear that in mind. So I have started here with a chain of 37, and then the first 2 rows are lovely and simple. It's basically a set of UK double crochets, and for the first one you miss that first chain there and work into the second one, and so we're working the UK double crochets all the way to the end of this, and then we're going to do a single chain, turn. That single chain doesn't count as a stitch, it's just to give you a little bit of height at the end. So basically you just need to work 2 rows of double crochet, and then we'll come back and start the more intricate work. So we'll see you in a moment with the 2 rows of double crochet complete, and you should have 36 stitches. Okay, so here we are with row 3. Now with row 3 we're actually beginning now to do the mosaic crochet, and it's for this row it's a combination of double crochets and chains and missed stitches. So I'm going to try and work across this quite slowly, so that we can kind of do it slowly together on this one. So we've got a 1 chain. That isn't counting as a stitch, and we've got then 4 double crochet. Helps if I've got the right yarn attached. I nearly started crocheting with the wrong yarn then. So we have got 4 double crochet, so we're starting to create the gaps and the skyscrapers. Then we're going to do 3 chains, and we're going to miss 2 stitches and then work a double crochet into the next one. Then I'm going to work 2 chains, miss the next stitch, work into the one after that, then work 3 chains, miss 2 stitches, and then I'm going to work 3 double crochet. Then 3 chains, miss 2 and do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, then another 3 chains, miss 2, work another double crochet, and then another 3 chains, and then miss 2, and I'm going to work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. 3 chains, miss 2, work into the next one, then 2 chains and a double crochet into the next one, then 3 chains, miss 2, and if I've counted correctly I should have 4 double crochet to work to take me to the end. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and we do. So that's how we're starting to build up the first row. I'm just going to pause it there and then we'll let you work through yours. This is where it's great to have a combination of both the chart and the written instructions. So refer to them as you need to, and we'll come back in a minute with the next row. Okay, so we're back with row 4. Now basically we are working the same combination of stitches, just going back along the row. So we've got 1 chain and we've got a double crochet into each of the 4 yellow or gold stitches that we worked before. Then we have a chain of 3 and we're missing the same stitches and working 1 double crochet into the double crochet on the row before. Then we need 2 chains and working into that double crochet. Then we do 3 chains, miss the 2 stitches and work into these 3. 2, 3, then 3 chains and a double crochet, another 3 chains, another double crochet. Again, they're being worked into the double crochet of the row below, another 3 chains, and this time 2 double crochets, 1 into each of those, 3 double crochets, not 2. And that's part of the gap between the buildings. Then we've got 3 chains, 1 double crochet, 2 chains and another double crochet, and then 3 chains, and then we're going to be working 4 double crochet here. That's 2, 3. On the 4th one we're changing back to black at this point. So for that final pull through on that final stitch, make sure that you change colour. So if I turn the right side out, this is what you'll have. Okay, so we'll be back again in a moment with row 5 of the written instructions. So see you again shortly. Okay, row 5. So in order to anchor everything, we do have to have a double crochet at the beginning and the end of every row, or at least a double crochet. So we're going to have 1 chain and 1 double crochet there. We're then going to chain 4. We're going to miss 3 stitches, and this is where the mosaic trebles come in. So we're actually working into that stitch. Okay, and you need to keep this at the front. You don't want to be wrapping the stitches at the back. So that's 1, 2. And then in the next stitch you're doing 1 individual double crochet Okay, then a mosaic crochet into that stitch below there, and a double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're working 2 mosaic crochets. So I'll just, that's your wrap, you go into the stitch that's in effect 2 rows below, or 3 rows below actually, but you're missing the 2 rows above. Okay, and then we're going to chain 4, and we are going to miss those 3 because they are part of the sunshine behind the buildings, and then we work another 2 mosaic crochets, and 1 double crochet, another 2 mosaic crochet, and a normal double crochet, and then another mosaic, sorry, 2 mosaic crochets. So that's where we've got to so far. Then we've got a chain of 4. We're missing, that's the gap in the buildings. Then another 2 mosaic crochets, a double crochet, a mosaic crochet, double crochet, and the mosaic. These are all trebles, UK trebles, but worked into that row below. So they are just a standard treble as far as the UK is concerned, just worked further down. And then we've got another chain of 4, and we work our final double crochet into the end of the row, and that way it anchors the stitches across. So I'm just going to pause there, double check everything I've done, because I always advise that on these. I think they're quite tricky to do, and then we'll come back with row 6. Okay, so here we are back with row 6. So we have 1 chain and a double crochet into that first stitch. Then we are going to chain 4. We're going to miss this set here, or this set of loops, and then we are going to work 7 double crochet into the 7 stitches of the row below. So 1, 2, you're working into the black yarn, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we've got another chain of 4, and this time we're missing again the chain on the row below, and we're working a set of 8 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then another chain of 4, and then another 7 double crochet. So you can see how we're working them into the top of either the trebles or the doubles on the row below. So another 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then a final chain of 4 and a double crochet into that last stitch. So if I turn that over, just lay it down so you've got a clear image of it. You can see where you need to have ended up, and we're going to be working some more mosaic crochets in various places here. So okay, we'll pause there and come back with the next one. Okay, I forgot to mention at the end of the last row that you do need to change yarn colours, so every time you get back to this side here you're going to be changing colour as a general rule of thumb. So just be prepared for that. So we've now got a 1 chain and a double crochet, oops, to anchor at that point. And then we're on mosaic trebles, but this time in the yellow, and into the next 3 stitches. So you go in, bring it in front there of those black chains, and then do a UK treble. So wrap into that hole, but bring it in front of the black. Okay, and again for the 3rd one. So you're going into there, but make sure you come to the front. You do not want to end up at the back there, or you're going to have some weird wrapping thing going on, which is not what you want to end up with. It'll make a very lumpy, strange mess if you're not careful. So we then do 3 chains. Oops. I'm going to miss 2 stitches and work a double crochet into the next one, then 2 chains, miss a stitch and work a double crochet, and then 3 chains, and then we're going to be working mosaic trebles into this next section here. So that's 3, 1 into each stitch, and then a chain of 3 and double crochet, chain of 2, oh sorry, 3, not 2, 3 chains in the middle there, and a double crochet, and then another chain of 3 and 3 mosaic crochets, so mosaic trebles. Then chain of 3, double crochet, a chain of 2, miss one, do another double crochet, so you've got the little gaps in between, then a chain of 3, you're missing those 2 black ones, and we're working into the next gold stitch with mosaic crochet. So don't forget, you do go in, but then you need to come back out in front of the black. If you've never done it before, just have a little play, and as you get to the end of each row, again, we're going to do it's a little bit difficult to see with the black yarn, but basically a double crochet at the end. Do pause when you've done each row and just double check it, because it's really frustrating if you get further down and then realise that you've done something wrong further back, because it sometimes doesn't shout at you until later. So anyway, see how you go with that one, but that is row 7, and we'll be back shortly with row 8. Okay, so we're back with row 8, which is quite a nice simple row. So 1 chain, and then we're working 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So this is where you're working stitches and chains. So every stitch of the row below has a stitch into it, and then the chains are the same. So we've got 4 double crochets there, followed by a chain of 3, and then a double crochet into the double crochet on the row below, chain of 2, and a double crochet, again worked into the one on the row below, then a chain of 3, and we've then got 3 trebles in the row below that we're working 3 double crochet into. Then a chain of 3 again, and a double crochet, another chain of 3, and another double crochet, that's part of the middle skyscraper, and another chain of 3, and then 3 double crochet, another chain of 3, and another double crochet, and a chain of 2, and then another double crochet, and then a chain of 3, and then we've got 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. This is number 4, and not forgetting that you need to swap the yarn at the end of the row. So that is row 8. Okay, so I'm just going to show you, this is where we've ended at the end of row 8. You now repeat rows 5 to 8 to complete rows 9 to 26. So row 9 is the same as row 5, so you go row 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then repeat again rows 5, 6, 7 and 8, and you keep doing that until you've got up to row 26. You actually finish at that point on row 6 because you need to change your yarn colour. So for the next few rows, I'm just going to let you repeat those 4 rows. Keep a track of where you are, and as you get to row 26, you need to join in at the end with yarn D, whatever colour that is for you. So, sort of a peachy colour for most people, I think, on that one. So we will rejoin again at row 26 at the end to show you where we've got to, but of course you can keep rewinding this bit of video as much as you need to complete those. Okay, so we'll see you in a little while at the end of row 26. Okay, so we've got to this point and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the, let's say, yellow dots. They're little windows, and that's what we have so far for that particular square. We're now going to change colour, so although we're going to be doing exactly the same thing, we're now just, for me it's the apricot yarn. So as before, change to the new colour and do a 1 chain and then a double crochet into that first stitch. Just anchors it very nicely. So again, we're going to be working rows 7 and 8. So you're actually doing exactly what you've been doing with the gold yarn, only this time we're doing it with this lovely apricot coloured yarn. So it's your mosaic trebles to where the yellows are, and then you start doing chains. So we've got 3 chain and miss 2 stitches and work your double crochet. So I won't make you watch me do the whole row. We're basically using the apricot where we've been using the gold yarn. So do your 2 rows, which are rows 7 and 8 again, in the apricot, and then change back to the black and work rows 5 and 6 again, and that will get to the point where then we're going to do a slight change. So we'll come back at the end of row 30 when you're counting upwards, and that'll be where you've finished with some black, and then we'll start with row 31 showing you the changes for that. Okay, I'll see you again in a moment. Okay, so this is where we are at the end of row 30, and 31 is where things start to change a little bit. So we'll work through this one slowly. We've got a 1 chain and 1 double crochet into the first stitch, then 1 mosaic treble into each of the next 3 stitches, then a chain of 3, and then we're going to miss 2 stitches and work a double crochet, then a 2 chain, miss that stitch, and work a double crochet into the next stitch, then 3 chain, miss those 2 stitches, and a mosaic treble into the next 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got to that one. Now this is where it starts to change, because we're doing a double crochet now where we wouldn't have done one before, and then 2 chains, because we're going to miss that next stitch and work into the one after as a double crochet, then a chain of 3, because we need to miss those 2 stitches and work another double crochet. So you can see how we've started to change it slightly. Then 2 chain and a double crochet where we wouldn't have worked one before. So we're now narrowing this top one in. Then we've got 3 mosaic trebles. 1, 2, 3. So you can see how this side we're carrying on as before. The centre one we've changed slightly because we've marked a stitch further in there, and then we're going back to what we've done previously. So we've got a chain of 3 and then a double crochet and then a chain of 2, missing a stitch, and another double crochet, and then a chain of 3, missing the 2 stitches there but working into the one below. And we're doing 3 of the mosaic crochets. And as always, when we get to the end, we need a double crochet. So hopefully you can see there. So the ends of the rows are as before, we've done them just the same, but when you've got to the middle, we've now got an extra double crochet at either side there. Okay, I'm back in a moment with the next row. Okay, so back with row 32, and we've got a 1 chain and a 1 double crochet into each of the first 4 stitches. So that's these 4 apricot stitches. Okay, 3 chains, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 2 chains, miss those 2 chains and work 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then 3 chains. We're going to miss the 3 chain space and work 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. The 4th one is that extra stitch that we worked last time, so the extra double crochet that we worked last time. So 2 chain, 1 double crochet, another 3 chain, 1 double crochet, 2 chains, then a double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So we're starting with that extra double crochet we worked on the row below, and then working into the 3 mosaic trebles, chain 3, miss 3 stitches and work a double crochet into there, 2 chain, 1 double crochet into that next stitch, then 3 chains and 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Not forgetting on the 4th one that we will be changing back to the main to the black on these. Okay, I'll just turn that round. And there you can see we've worked on top of those extra stitches. Okay, we're back in a moment with row 33. Okay, so this is where we are at the end of row 32, and we've changed to the black, and we're going to do a 1 chain, and as before we do a 1 double crochet there. Then we're going to chain 4, miss 3 stitches and work mosaic trebles. So we're going to work 2 of those. That's 1, 2, a double crochet, another mosaic treble, and another double crochet, and then another 2 mosaic crochets. And this time we're going to do a chain of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're missing 4 stitches because we're not going to work into that one. We're going to do 1 mosaic treble into that next black stitch, and then a double crochet, and then 2 mosaic crochet, and 1 double, again creating another little window, and 1 more mosaic crochet. So we're only doing 1 of these edges where we were doing 2 before. Then another chain of 5, and miss 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to start working in here. So 1, 2, a double crochet into that one, 1 mosaic crochet, and a double, and then another 2 mosaic crochets, a chain of 4, missing those 3 stitches, and then working the final double crochet into the end. So as you can see there, that's started to narrow this in a little and change the shape of the middle building. Okay, we'll be back in a moment with row 34. Okay, so we're back with row 34. So I've got a 1 chain and the usual 1 double crochet. Then we're going to chain 4, 3, 4, and miss the chains there and work into that first one there, and we're going to do a double crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets into the 7 stitches on the row below. Then we've got a chain of 4, miss those stitches or the chain and work a final double crochet, not forgetting to change yarns at the end of that row. So this is how it should look at the end of row 34. Okay, back in a moment. Okay, so row 35. We do one chain and one double crochet, and then one mosaic treble into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, chain of 3, missing 2 stitches and working a double crochet into the next stitch to make a window, then 2 chains, miss a stitch, work a double crochet, and then 2 chains, sorry, 3 chains there, miss 2 stitches, and then we're working mosaic trebles into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then a double crochet into that first stitch, so we're missing these chains and working a double crochet into there because we've extended the skyline a little bit. Then we do a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to miss 4 stitches and work into the 5th one, so that's a double crochet, and then 4 mosaic trebles, so 1, 2, 3, 4 there, so that's 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain of 3, going to miss 2 stitches, work a double crochet, so that's 1, 2, work the double crochet into the 3rd one, chain of 2, miss a stitch, work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain of 3, miss your 2 stitches and work mosaic trebles into each of the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet into that final stitch, and that's how we'll look at the end of row 35. So this is where it's changing. Everything else has remained the same, but this section here is where it's starting to change. So just make sure you've got that one right, and we'll be back in a moment with row 36. Okay, row 36. So 1 chain, 1 double crochet into your first 4 stitches. Okay, 3 chain, miss your 3 chain space and work into your next double crochet, then 2 chains and work into your next double crochet. So that's a UK double. Then a chain of 3, miss your 3 chain space, and this time you can see where you've got your extra stitches there. You're going to work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's your 4 mosaic trebles plus your extra double crochet there. Then we have a chain of 5, miss the 5 chain and work another 5 double crochets, starting in the double crochet and then working along the mosaic trebles. 2, 3, 4, 5, chain of 3, miss those chains, do a double crochet, 2 chain, another double crochet, and then a final 3 chain there, miss those, and you're working 4 double crochets, 1 into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, but remember to change to the black. So that's how it looks across the back, and then when we turn it over, ready for the next row, that's how you're going to look for the next row. Okay, see you again in a moment with row 37. Okay, so as normal, 1 chain, 1 double crochet. Then we've got a chain of 4, miss 3 stitches and work your mosaic crochets into the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and then we have a double crochet into the next stitch, followed by a mosaic treble to the one after that, followed by another double crochet. So I've got the set of windows there, and another 2 mosaic crochets. Then this time we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches there, so we're going to do a chain of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to miss those 5 stitches and we're working a mosaic treble into those 4. So that's ignoring all these here, working in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a chain of 6 again, and we're missing those 5 stitches there, and we're going to work 2 mosaic trebles, 1 into each of the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and a double crochet, and another mosaic treble, and another double crochet, and another 2 mosaic trebles. 1, 2, and then a chain of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a double crochet, and then we're ready to turn again. So you can see how we're getting the top bit now of the skyscraper. Okay, we'll be back in a moment with row 38. Okay, so row 38, we've got 1 chain, and then we've got 1 double crochet worked into the first stitch. Here we go. Chain of 4, miss 4 chain space, and then we're going to work double crochets into each of the next 7 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then a chain of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, miss the chain that you've got there, and then work a double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's on top of the 4 trebles that were in the middle. Chain of 6 again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we miss the chain and start working into the 7 stitches that are at the other side. So 1 double crochet into each, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, chain of 4, and a double crochet into the final stitch there. And this time we're at the end of there. We're going to actually change to yarn E, and for me that's the lovely magenta coloured cotton. So for that final stitch there, I'm going to pull through with final colour. Okay, so that's where we are right now, and we'll be back in a moment with the next row, row 39. Okay, so here we are with row 39, and we start with a 1 chain as normal, which I've done with the tail, and then a double crochet. Pull that down a bit tighter. Then we are going to work mosaic trebles into the next 3 stitches. So 1, seem to got that anchored properly. 1, 2, 3 mosaic trebles. Then we're going to work a double crochet into each of these 7 stitches. So we're going to start here. You've ignored obviously the string at the back, or the chain at the back. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're working a mosaic treble into each of the next 5 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to do 4 double crochets into the next one, into each of the next 4 stitches. All there. And then mosaic trebles again, we're going to work 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have got 7 double crochet again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, little twiddle on the yarn there. Then we've got 3 mosaic trebles. 1, 2, 3, and a final double crochet, and then we'll be turning in a minute, but we'll come back to that in a second. So that's how you should look at the end of row 39. So hopefully you've got the same as me. Okay, we'll see you again in a moment for row 40. Okay, so row 40, really easy. It's a 1 chain, obviously we turned round, and then you're going to very simply work a double crochet all the way across that row. So nothing more complicated than that, just work into every stitch and make sure that you do a UK double crochet, and we will see you at the end of row 40 for the next bit. Okay, so that's how it should look at the end of row 40. It's now recommending that you go back to your other hook size. So I've been using a 4.5 there, and I'm now going to go back down to a 4. And that, as we mentioned before, was to do with how the mosaic treble needs a bit more sort of space to it somehow. So these are dead easy. So rows 41 to 44 are all the same. You do a chain of 3, and then that counts as a treble, and then you just work standard trebles all the way. This is UK trebles, by the way, all the way along the row. You want to end up at the end of each row with 36 stitches, and that will include the chain of 3 at the beginning. So that's rows 41, 42, 43, 44, all done exactly the same. Just turn at the end of each row, do a chain of 3, and then work trebles all the way across, and double check your stitch count, because these are the rows where it's really easy to lose or gain a stitch. So we will see you in a few minutes at the end of row 44 and show you how you look at that point. When you get to the end of row 44, you do need to change to yarn A, whatever that is for you. For me, that's going to be cream. For you, it may be black. Okay, we'll see you shortly at the end of row 44. Okay, so that's how we look at the end of row 44, and we're now going to start the border. I've changed to the cream yarn, which is yarn A for me, and we are starting with a single chain, and then use the threads to pull that a little tighter. Now on this you miss the first stitch and you slip stitch to that second stitch. So that's not the corner one that you've done the chain from, it's the next one in, and then you do a chain of 3. That counts as the first treble, and then we're going to do another 2 trebles into that one. Then we're going to miss 2 stitches, so miss 2 and work a treble into the third, and again we're going to work 3 trebles into the stitches that we're working into. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to keep doing that all the way to the corner. So we're going to keep working, missing 2 stitches and working into the third all the way till we get to the corner. I'll then pick it back up again and show you how to start working down the sides. So I'll see you in a moment at the end of this row. Okay, so we're now at the corner. That's the final stitch which you don't work into. So we're going to do a chain of 2 and that creates your corner, and then I'm going to work a set of 3 trebles, not into that corner stitch there. I've picked this one. Obviously you can pick which one you feel works best. So I've got 3 trebles into there, I'm missing a row and I'm going to work 3 trebles into this one. As long as it looks even when you've finished, there's no sort of 100% right or wrong way of doing this. And then I'm going to work my trebles into each of the black stitches at the side. Again, that's just my choice. There's not a right or a wrong in this. So you may prefer to work them into the peachy colour. So I'm going to work all the way down. I should get to 12 when I reach the bottom here, and then I'm going to do another 2 chain, and then we'll start to work across the bottom. Okay, back in a moment. Okay, so this is how I've worked down the side. Obviously you can work it differently if you wish. I've come to the corner and I'm now going to work, have worked, sorry, the 2 chains, and then I'm missing that first stitch and I'm going to work into the second one. So there is one in the corner there that's quite easy to miss, but in order to get a nice even set of 12 across, you need to work into that second stitch really. So you then miss those 2 loops and work into the next one. A little bit more tricky to see with the black, and you will find initially that it pulls, but as you work along the line it evens itself out. So I've missed 2 and working into the third. If you want to work a little bit deeper into the stitch, please feel free. This is just my chosen way of doing it, but as you can see, as you work your way along, they all level out again, so it's really not a problem. Okay, I'll keep working to the end of this side and then we'll pick it up again at the next corner. Okay, so we've got to this corner. I've got my 12 along the bottom and I've done a 2 chain in this corner, and then we're going to start working into the first black row. So that's my 3 trebles there. Now the key to this one is we really want to neaten up any little bits in this side. So I'm trying to make sure that I trap any yarns that are hanging around at the side within this. So you might want to have a little play with how you do this. You may want to try sort of more than one way of doing this to hide and neaten up your edge. Depends what your edge looks like. So I'm going to keep working. Again, I'm trying to work it around the black section because that's what we've done at the other side here. So trying to sort of neaten it up and carry it all forward. So I'm going to work on that one and then we'll come back and show you how it looks at the end. Okay, so that's my final edge there. I've got 12 sets of trebles plus 2 chains and a slip stitch. So I don't know if you can sort of see all that, but basically got all my edges now with the 12 going round each side and the 2 chains in each corner. So we still have another round to do, so we'll come back and do that in just a second. Okay. Okay, so we're on the final border of this particular square. So we've turned the work, so I've now got the back of the work towards me, and we're doing a chain of 3, and then we're going to work a corner, which is 2 UK trebles, 1 chain and another 2 UK trebles. I've got my hands set up quite right there. So that first chain of 3 does count as a stitch, but it actually counts as the last stitch of this row here. And then, very simply, you're going to work trebles all the way across. So if you've got the right number of sets of 3 on the previous row, you should have 36 trebles down each side, plus the extra 2 trebles that you will work off that side in the corner. So every corner is going to be 2 trebles, a chain and 2 trebles worked into the holes, so that's there. So you'll have 4 of those obviously because we've got 4 corners, and in between you've got your 36 individual stitches. So in total down the sides you're going to have 40 stitches with a 1 chain corner space, and that will be down every side because we should have 12 sets of 3 as well. So I hope that makes sense. You're basically aiming for 40 stitches around each side with 1 corner chain space. So we'll come back at the end just to give you a quick show of what the square looks like, and then that is another block complete. Okay, see you shortly. So here we are with the final one. The edges are all done, everything's sewn in, and hopefully you can now see how lovely the square looks. So we'll join you again shortly with view 5. So I hope you've enjoyed making that one. I think it's absolutely stunning to do. Okay, bye for now.